Have you been trying to homeschool with a toddler pulling on your leg and a baby screaming in your arms? Welcome to the real homeschool trenches. But let me be clear here, chaos is not your only option. Mediocrity loves to tell you that this season is just about surviving, that your standards have to drop, and that motherhood and homeschooling cannot coexist at a high level. That's a lie. You can run a peaceful, structured, academically sound homeschool, even with babies and toddlers underfoot. And today I'm going to show you how. This is what I call vocational homeschooling. It's not a vibe, it's not a lifestyle, and it is certainly not a series of Pinterest activities. It's a sacred calling to rule your homeschool with clarity, conviction, and strategy, to steward your child's mind, soul, and heart like it actually matters. Because it does. I have homeschooled through pregnancy, postpartum, nursing babies, and toddlers that could scale the furniture like parkour athletes. But I didn't lower my standards to survive it. And you don't have to either. Let's talk strategy. Here's the truth that most people won't say out loud. You can't just wing it when you have little ones in the house. There's no such thing as a go with the flow homeschool that works long term with a 2-year-old climbing the bookshelf and a baby screaming every 90 minutes. If your only strategy is vibes and flexibility, you are going to burn out. I know because I tried it. When I was determined to just go with the flow, everything fell apart. On the days that I actually was prepared and had activities planned for my little ones and created a structure to their day, everything started to fall back into place. Survival mode is not noble. It's really just reactive living. What you really need is structure that includes the chaos, not denies it. Let's talk about anchoring your day with non-negotiables. The key to making this season work is to anchor your day with immovable rhythms. In my house, that means we start our day with breakfast and Christian study. I might be holding a fussy baby or bouncing the toddler on my hip, but we are at the table and the Bible is open. Math corrections happen during quiet reading time. Recitation was done while I was nursing. You have to decide what's non-negotiable in your homeschool and then hold that line. Not harshly, not rigidly, but with calm authority. Remember, you are the one in charge. Pro tip, create a visible rhythm chart, not for your kids, but for you, so that even when you're tired or distracted, you know exactly what comes next. Once we had a rhythm to our day and every child in the house knew what came next, it created a sort of calm and a peace because, the young little ones, they didn't have to wonder anymore. They didn't have to wander around aimlessly. They knew what was coming next. They knew what was expected of them. Structure creates security for the toddler and the teen. Let's talk about tactical toddler containment. You cannot manage your toddler with just vibes. You have to use strategy. Here are some of my best tactical tools for this. So make sure to have some morning toddler time. 15 minutes of mom's focused time on the toddler is a fantastic way to set the mood for the rest of the day. It fills up their attention tank and makes them feel loved from the very beginning. Rotation bins, Duplos, puzzles, stickers, any sort of little toy, but you want to keep these in separate types of bins. So you might have a one bin with play dishes and play food. You might have a different bin for the Duplos. You might have a different bin for Playmobil stuff. You're going to keep everything separated and you are going to set timers and rotate the toys that way. I love a gated play area and you can check it out here. Like this is what I'm thinking about right here. It's a great place to, you make sure to keep it vacuumed daily so that you don't have to worry about choking hazards or anything like that. You can rotate toys in there. It gives your toddlers plenty of room to move around and play, but you know that they're safe. So you don't have to constantly be watching them, constantly be interacting. You can even send an older child who needs a break in there to read the story or something like that. You're obviously not leaving your toddler in there all day long, but it works great for like 1 hour and it gives you time to get some work done with your older students. It's great to wear your baby during read alouds or to just sit in a rocking chair and rock the baby during read alouds. It gives snuggle time to both of you and it's just a good way to use that time. And yes, a lot of times there is 10 to 15 minutes of Cheerios in the high chair. Set a 10 to 15 minute timer and give yourself that break. You have to figure out what's going to work for you and your household. It's not about entertaining toddlers all day long. It's about predictable structure that also meets their developmental needs. And this is one area where I would highly suggest going ahead and writing out a schedule so that you know exactly what comes next. And you won't believe how quickly your toddler will start to understand the rhythm of that day and be ready for the next thing as well. Toddlers generally act up when they're being ignored, but if you give them purpose and boundaries, that storm calms down pretty quickly. Let's talk about training older kids to work independently. Here's a hard truth. If your older kids need you every minute of their homeschool day, that is not a baby problem. That's a systems problem. You need to start training them for independent work. Here's a couple of suggestions for that. Use checklist folders. You're going to have a daily checklist for them in their folder with any work, already printed off so that they don't have to come to you for every single thing. You front load that. Looping schedules. Make sure that they know what comes next on their list and that they do it. This is a great habit to build. Check your list before asking mom. If you use any video-based instruction for math, Latin, spelling, anything like that, teach your children how to get that going so that they don't have to wait for you to come and do it. If your kids are old enough to write in cursive, they are old enough to follow a plan. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. You're building more than transcripts. You are building self-governing adults. So teaching children to be more independent workers is really one of the most important skills that I start teaching probably around the age of 7 or 8. This doesn't mean that I want to be hands-off as soon as possible. It just means that I'm teaching them how to take responsibility. In our house, we start online classes around junior high time. So I want to make sure that they have plenty of years to really fully develop that skill before I put them in an online class so that I know that they're absolutely prepared to take on the workload for that class. Homeschooling is not just about academics, it's also training in leadership, maturity, and responsibility. Let's talk now about protecting the peace of the home. The atmosphere of your home really accounts for how your homeschool feels and functions. And here's the truth of this. Your attitude sets that tone. Your home doesn't need to be silent, but it does need to be calm. People are trying to learn here. So here's some ways to establish that atmosphere. Speak quietly, like library voices. Eliminate yelling. You can turn on some classical music or instrumental hymns softly in the background. Keep the visual clutter down. Use chore systems here. Dress well each day. You need to look like a woman who is in charge. Little story here on the days when I don't get dressed, when I don't have earrings in, when my hair looks like a mess or I don't put on makeup. Usually if I'm not feeling well, that's really the only time it happens. The difference in my children's attitudes, it's like night and day. They look at me and they see weakness and they exploit that weakness. So if you're having trouble with your kids really respecting your authority, start getting dressed every day and looking like you are in charge. Leadership in the home is atmospheric. Don't just teach peace, embody it. What to lower and what never to lower. There are some standards that you can lower during the season of babies and toddlers. And then there's some that you just do not lower no matter what. What you can lower. Elaborate crafts. I know that that's easy for me to say because I'm not a crafty person, but still, like, you don't need to do crazy crafts just so that your kids have enrichment. Pinterest snacks. An apple or a banana is just fine. Like I said before, frequent field trips. It's fun every once in a while, but do it on the weekends, not during a school day. Overcommitted extracurriculars. Now, if you've listened to my videos, you know that this is a big one for me. We do not go extracurricular crazy in this household. If we are going to do an extracurricular, it's going to be one that the majority of the children can participate with together because I do not want to be out of my house every night of the week. Having family dinner is extremely important to me. And honestly, I feel like that is more formational for my children than a sport ever will be. I'm on my soapbox. I'm going to step off now. Just know if you feel like you're going crazy, it's probably because there are too many extracurriculars in your life. What you're never going to flex on. Math instruction. It is so important. It's vital. Keep going every single day. Reading fluency. If your children are not reading fluently enough, you need to be working with them on that. Don't just assume it's going to get better without you working on it. You've got to make it happen. Christian discipleship. Why are you even homeschooling if you're not reading the Bible to your children every single day? Don't let that one slide. So those are my non-negotiables. They build the foundation of your child's education and his soul. Humility says, I can't do everything right now. But humility does not mean mediocrity. You are not just soothing babies and managing toddlers. You are shaping future men and women of strength and character. Yes, this season is exhausting, and yes, you will feel stretched thin, but do not let the hard days convince you that your standards are too high. They're not. They're holy, and they are worth upholding, even with a baby in one arm and a toddler emptying the silverware drawer behind you. If this video gave you clarity, hit subscribe. I do not romanticize homeschooling, but I do help you rule it. And if your homeschool feels off track, like something's broken and you just can't name it, grab my free homeschool rescue plan. It's a 5-day free video challenge that helps you fix that foundation fast. The link is in the description box below. You're not alone and you're not crazy. You just need strategy that works with reality, not against it.